Hey, what's going on, guys? Battle Nation Zimper here, back today with another video. And today, guys, we have another archives videos. You guys have really supported the last ones very well, and I greatly appreciate that. We got a bunch of likes, a bunch of views on those last two videos, so just wanted to thank you guys real quick for that. And welcome in this third one. So the previous two, we discovered the Battle Nations first trailer. It was very nostalgic. Then we did a Battle Nations preview, basically the developers trying to pitch the game. And now we have Battle Nations developer Q&A. And if you guys like this one, I have some really good news for you. We got a bunch of them. We got the part 2 over here, and very confusingly enough, if we scroll all the way down, Battle Nations developer Q&A, which is pretty funny because that is the exact name of this video right here. And it's legit. It is by the same Z2. It is a different video, but it was made 10 years ago, while the one we are watching today was made 13 years ago. So this is the OG right here. Also, this one has 24,000 views currently. That one has 13,000 views. And before we jump into this video, of course, even though Z2 is no longer with us, we still got to honor their memory. So we're going to drop a like down below on their video. And let's full screen and get right into this. Just cinema. Also, I started a few seconds too late, skipped to the Z2 live. I want to get the full experience, so let's go ahead and play it again. Cinema. Beautiful.
Hey guys, this is Rental Animal
Stock option.
and we're here to answer some of your questions that we've received on our forums. So let's get started.
I love the drip they're wearing. I hope we get that back. I think sound should be good. I've been messing with it, but I think this is the best. If you guys would like a little bit lighter, a little bit lower, let me know in the comments below. But yeah, I think those caps were sold at some of the very first Z2 merch, and there are people who still post about having it on TikTok. I imagine it's probably a collector's item at this point, so if you have it, definitely hold on to it. But I just love the fact that they're wearing it, and of course, you can obviously tell in the studio with the background. But let's see what the questions they had back over a decade ago were.
Received on our forums. So let's get started.
Ooh, that's a good one.
All right, so the Silver Wolves are these group of kind of bandits that are in one of the northern towns that go on drunken raids every once in a while. As you guys have noticed, they've come in and invaded your outpost in the last couple days, and that event is leading up to the next update, which is coming out shortly, which has a bunch of missions and wraps up the final encounter with Gantus. It'll be a lot of fun.
You forgot.
That is so amazing. He's introducing the Civil Wars here. It's amazing to think they weren't always in the game. Also, he kind of describes them as, a drunken group that goes on raids. Brother, that's like everybody in this game. I mean, even us to an extent with Morgan. But, I mean, he makes a very good point. And he's talking, of course, the lead up to the final battle with Guinness and the introduction to the Mafia bosses or the Silver Wolf bosses. And I'm going to talk about Tro from the Wall Strikes. I'm talking about, like, some of the crazy guys, which we're going to be discussing in a lore video in the next few days, so keep an eye out for that. But I just find it amazing him having to sell the Silver Wolves because, yeah, at one point they were a new concept. And let's see what his buddy has to say. And I said this in the last video, but one last thing. I do apologize for having to drop back and forth all the time. I will leave the description or the link to in the description of this video to this video right here if you guys would like to watch yourself fully uncut. Just unfortunately, I left like 30 seconds in the initial Battle Nations trailer review, and that 30 seconds was enough for me to get copyright warning. Thank goodness it wasn't a strike, but it was a warning, so YouTube basically told me if you ever want to do a reaction video again, make sure to have a lot of stop cuts. So I'm just trying to obey that rule.
Forgot about the bars.
And the bars and gears, that's true. So the Silver Wolves are bringing with them a ton of bars and gears, which you need for some of the new units that are coming out in the next update, including the heavy tank.
I I can't even believe the fact again. He was talking about the introduction of bars and gears. Like, so much of this game, I forget Battle Nations at one point wasn't developed. I mean, everything we're getting right now is, of course, just bringing back the game, bringing back, everything we love. But, I mean, these guys were making it. I mean, Madrona Games is like the savior of this world, I would say. But these are the guys who made it. This is Old Testament God, and Madrona Games is New Testament God. That was a really bad comparison, but nevertheless, let's keep going into it. This question being, do you have as much fun developing this game as we do playing it? Well, that's very sweet. Let's see what they say.
We have a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's tons of fun making these games. Coming up with the ideas and taking them all the way through from concept to actually, creating the characters and the storylines and bringing it all to life is really a blast.
Plus, we work with some really awesome people.
Yeah.
Really intelligent and creative, and it's just a blast.
And it's great working with people that you love working with and just getting that energy that we think translates into the game.
I want to ask Madrona Games that question. I hope they're enjoying the development of that game. Somebody needs to ask Alex or Andrew, or both of them, that exact same question. And that was really nice. I like their answer there. Oh, so we know what the actual answer to this is, but I'm really curious to see what they say here.
Yeah, so air and water units are both things that we would love to add to the game. We're kind of actively trying to figure out how it works in with the storyline and making sure that it all makes sense and is also fun and compelling and doesn't bifurcate the game too much. So there's a lot of considerations, but it's definitely something we're interested in.
That is so awesome. So this is pre-boss strike. This is before even the very first boss strike, Lieutenant Duran's Rebellion. Before boss strike number one, before Navy, obviously. That was like the last major update. But yeah, and he gave a really sweet answer, wanted to make it work into story. Dude, you guys did. I'm talking to somebody who probably doesn't even think about Foundations anymore, but they did a fantastic job. They implemented aircraft to the point where it was one of the things most loved about the game, especially by people like me. And Navy, I think that was a great somber note to end Battle Nations off. Of course, if I had it my way, Battle Nations would have never ended, but for what it had to end, Navy was an awesome last addition to the game that I'm glad they were able to get in. Also, it's funny to think if you were to ask, I guess, a Battle Nations player, the last thing they would remember it is Navy. Yet here we are in the beta I'm currently recording this on March 25th, 2025, and it's still, in beta. We already have Navy back before guilds, so these gentlemen already had guilds but no Navy. So it's interesting how we're getting the game back in a different order than it was made as well.
Ooh, great question. Will real nanopods be featured in the store? Well, there's actually some really awesome exclusive items coming to the store in the next couple months, so you have to keep your eyes open for that. Oh, and if you didn't know, Battle Nations store is now open, so you guys can go on and order stuff. And actually, for watching this video, we're going to give you an exclusive 40% off all purchases.
What?
40%. It's pretty good. You have to use this code.
And I was actually going to look and see if they had in the description. I don't think they have the website in the description, but what's the code?
Code right here, though. If you don't use that code, you're not going to get 40%.
Oh, it's limited time only, and I feel that limited time has ran out by now. Well, I tried. Let's keep going.
So use this code. This one.
This code.
You see it? Okay. Cool.
You make more cutscenes to show the storyline to the game.
So the cutscenes and the little comics that we do are integral to the storytelling process, and we definitely, as long as there are updates with new missions coming out, cutscenes will definitely be a part of that. They're a lot of fun to make and really do a great job of telling the story, moving it along in kind of an animated fashion that you don't necessarily see in this genre very often.
100%, dude. I'm glad they did it all the way up to, the final campaign mission, which was fully animated in that cutscene. So that's pretty cool, and it's a pretty good answer. And look at this. Why stop at level 35? Why not go to 70 plus like Trade Nations? And of course, we already know, for anybody who's new here, they would end up making the cap level 70. So let's see what they say here, though, since it was only 35 at the time.
So when Trade Nations first launched, the level cap was actually 20, and we slowly added, I think the first update was 25, and then 35 going on from there. And we would love to be able to, have a really high level cap in Battle Nations, but with that high level cap comes new units and balancing those units in combat to make sure they're fun and effective, new missions, writing those missions along with those cutscenes. There's a ton of work that goes in, and we're working really hard to get that out to you guys. But we really want to make sure that when we put out an update with a level up increase, that there's fun content all the way through, and there's something new to enjoy that's not just a higher level.
That's fair, and you guys did it perfectly. It's the fact that it was 35 at one point. They got us all the way to 70, which is funny that comment said it. Okay, this is a good
So
one.
matchmaking for PvP is determined on a couple different ways. So when you queue up, it looks for players that are your same level because we
Makes
want you
sense.
guys to have access to the same types of units. And then it looks at the army that you're bringing and tries to match it on a relative ability level with your opponent. And it's not super strict.
And he's saying this, of course, before aircraft. I feel aircraft just destroyed PvP because if you, of course, had an aircraft, your opponent didn't. Oh well. But I mean, I do like that concept. Leveling is just a straightforward. Obviously you want to fight people near your level. That's just makes sense. But also like how he talks about a relative power ranking, and I'm not sure how that would be conducted. I think you just give every unit maybe like a certain power score, and then you look at the final formation of both teams, you give their entire formation a power ranking, and then you try to find somebody similar to that ranking, I guess is how that would work. And I think that's what he's describing here, and I hope that's what it is going forward, because especially once you add stuff like aircraft and super strong limited edition units into the game, cough cough, the legendary animals, it becomes a little bit more challenging. But I think he's describing it in a pretty good manner.
It'll slowly widen itself over time to make sure that you get a match, but it tries for the closest match that it can, and then we'll expand from there.
Well, Morgan told us not to.
What happens if you eat a nanopod? We've talked about it.
We have talked about it. It's really not good. You didn't do it, did you? Like, I would not recommend it. It's terrible.
No. I mean, I heard from one of the designers that you don't die for one. You definitely will not die.
It's
but
worse than that.
So much worse.
It's much worse.
Ooh, they're painting it out. But I mean, why does it heal 100 HP, boys? For vehicles, naval units, and humans, why does it heal? And animals, why does it heal 100 HP? I want an answer for this. This is my question for the Q&A.
You'd want to die from it.
Yeah, it'll start reconstructing the food in your stomach. So if you eat a burger, there's now a cow that's being reconstructed, and it's bloody, and
That sounds like it's healing the animal. Why, again, can I not eat it? I want further questioning into this.
don't. So we're looking at a lot of cool ways that we can have players customize their army and be able to actually level up their units.
Pretty sure this is something AP was talking about in his most recent Guild Wars video, which was our collaboration, if you haven't seen it by yet. But in short, he was talking about how in Clash of Clans, of course, when you level up units, you can give them different skins. They get different skins and basically, in general, look cooler the higher level you make them. But then you can also add skins to them. And I think that's what they're about to discuss here. I think that would be hard to implement in Battle Nations, except for the fact of, like AP mentioned, level up. Of course, unit gets higher level up, you make it look cooler. That's pretty straightforward. But as far as skins go, that would have to be a very delicate matter as far as implementing in Battle Nations. Let's see what these gentlemen have to say about it.
So as we talked about in the State of the Empire post that we made a couple weeks ago, you're going to be able to engage in combat with your army.
State of the Empire. Did I hear that right?
Weeks ago. You're going to be able to engage in combat weeks ago in the State of the Empire post that we made a couple weeks ago.
Of the Empire.
Talked about in the State of the Empire post that we made.
I'm not going to do community post anymore. I'm going to only refer to them as State of the Empire because that's so unironically hard. Did he come up with that on the spot? I don't care if he did. I'm stealing it.
As we talked about in the State of the Empire post that we made a couple weeks ago, you're going to be able to engage in combat with your army, and then as you use units more and more, they'll be able to level up, and from there, they'll get stronger and more hit points, all that fun stuff. And we're looking at ways we can expand that system further to influence things like you guys talked about with ammo and cooldown and fun stuff like that. So it'll give each player really the ability to customize what they think is important, and like the types of units they really like, they can specialize and have those units blow stuff up a little bit easier.
It's a great opportunity for you guys to breathe new life.
So yeah, as he said, leveling up, which they were about to add SP and everything, of course, brings a huge addition to the game. But I really like how he summarized it from his own little perspective right
Into the
there.
units that you loved in the earlier stages of the game. I, for one, I'm going to do it for my Flame Trooper, bring him back into battle.
Yeah.
Oh man, Flame Troopers were useful back then, really showing your age now, dude.
It's going to be a great way to take those units that were available before and might have been outpaced a little bit by some of the newer stuff and bring them and make them a little bit more relevant again.
Oh no. Well, we know the answer to this, dude. I got some good news for you. You got at least another good 4 years in you before it peters out, but I really want to hear how they answered this one. And of course, this one isn't on them. They didn't know, but man.
We will be updating Battle Nations forever.
Yeah, so
Oh no, they didn't know. They didn't know.
We will be updating Battle Nations forever.
yeah, so Trade Nations came out in November 2010, and we as a company are still producing updates and content for that game to this day. Expect nothing different for Battle Nations. What you guys have played up to this point is like the first half of Chapter 1. The update that's coming out after the Silver Wolf promo will kind of tie up the end of Chapter 1 and opens us up for a bunch of more chapters that we have planned that will introduce new villains and new heroes, new units, and new cool mechanics to really enjoy different aspects of the game. I'm really excited for where it's going and expect a lot more from us.
Oh, that one was the most painful. Was that the last one too? Yep, outro. This is the outro. Yep, and now my neighbor's coming home.
Thank you guys for watching. We had an awesome time making this.
I'm gonna let my neighbor. I just gotta stew in that for a minute. They didn't know, and you can't put it on them. They didn't know. You can't put it on my neighbor. He's just coming home using his garage door, and I'm right next to him. But wow, they genuinely didn't know, and I bet if they had their way, in 2025 we would still be getting OG Battle Nations updates. They didn't know. They didn't know. Dang, that rocked.
And new heroes, new units. Expect a lot more from us.
We did get 4 more years, and it was a lot more, but I wanted so much more. We all wanted so much more. The fact that Clash of Clans is still here and you're not pains me to this day.
Thank you guys for watching. We had an awesome time making this. I hope we answered your questions to
Your satisfaction?
If you have any concerns or comments or want to tell us that the video sucked, the video is awesome, whatever, just answer below. Tell us in this post what you thought. We hope to do more of these in the future, and we really love to get your feedback.
Definitely. Yeah, I expect a lot of more Q&As to come. Really excited to be able to answer you guys' questions this way.
Wow. Wow. Absolute cinema.
Listen.
Oh, I know it's a YouTube Premium ad, but I would not be surprised if it's copyrighted music. Also, who's getting this ad revenue? I mean, obviously, you know, YouTube's getting some, assuming they pay themselves, but who would get the creator fund? It really doesn't matter. But yeah, guys, that was Battle Nations Developer Q&A Episode 1. Absolute cinema. I loved it. I hope you guys liked it. It was a lot of insight. Just the only one that hurt was this one. But other than that, I think there were a lot of interesting points made here and a lot of stuff I think we can learn from. So if you guys found anything in this interesting, something maybe brought you back a little bit of nostalgia, something you liked, please comment it down below. I'd love to get a discussion going. Did you like this video? Did you dislike this video? I know I'm sounding like them now, but genuinely, just let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. And unlike them, I will be replying to comments. Well, they probably replied to comments too. I'm not sure if I'm going to be replying to comments 12 years later. Hell, I'm not sure if I'm going to be alive in 12 years, so I can't blame them at all. But nevertheless, guys, that will just about do it for us. I'm sorry, 13 years. But yeah, thank you guys very much for watching this video. I greatly appreciate you. If you enjoyed today's video, please consider dropping a like down below and subscribing to the channel if you are new. And with all that being said, guys, that will do it for us today. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, have a great rest of your day.